Welcome to the News Analysis channel. We would be analyzing on BRICS unveils symbolic banknote, pushes for local currency trade amid dollar debate. In a bold statement of intent, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, unveiled a symbolic banknote during their latest summit, marking a significant milestone in their collective push to shift away from the US dollar in global trade. This move signals a growing determination within the bloc to create a more balanced and diversified global financial system, one that lessens the dependency on the American currency that has long dominated international markets. While the banknote remains largely symbolic, its unveiling carries profound geopolitical and economic implications. The gesture reflects BRICS' increasing cooperation and solidarity in the face of a shifting global power dynamic, as well as their shared ambition to challenge the status quo in global trade and finance. The banknote, a symbol of intent. The symbolic banknote, featuring the national emblems of all 5 BRICS countries, was presented as a metaphorical representation of the bloc's economic aspirations. Though not yet intended for circulation, it symbolizes the vision of a future where BRICS could introduce a common currency, or at the very least, reduce their reliance on the US dollar for international trade. While the introduction of a real, circulating BRICS currency may be years or even decades away, the presentation of the banknote highlights the increasing urgency within the bloc to explore alternative financial models. It also sends a strong political message. The BRICS nations are serious about reconfiguring the global financial system, which they believe disproportionately favors the West. A concerted push for local currency trade, perhaps more significant than the banknote itself, is BRICS' ongoing push to facilitate trade using local currencies. Leaders from the 5 nations have repeatedly emphasized the need to expand bilateral trade agreements that prioritize transactions in their own currencies, rather than relying on the US dollar as an intermediary. This push for local currency trade is particularly important for countries like Russia, which has faced significant sanctions from Western powers, and China, which is increasingly positioning the yuan as a global alternative to the dollar. The adoption of local currencies in trade agreements would not only mitigate the risk of economic sanctions but also reduce exchange rate volatility and transaction costs associated with dollar-denominated trades. Already, several BRICS nations have taken steps to enhance trade cooperation using local currencies. For instance, Brazil and China have agreed to conduct trade using the Chinese yuan and Brazilian real, bypassing the dollar. Similar agreements have been explored within the BRICS bloc, with discussions underway about expanding this practice to other emerging economies. The dollar debate, challenging US hegemony for over 7 decades, the US dollar has served as the world's dominant reserve currency, granting the United States immense influence over global trade, finance, and economic policies. This has been advantageous for the US, enabling it to borrow at lower costs and maintain its global economic dominance. However, BRICS' latest moves signal growing discontent with this arrangement. Critics within the bloc argue that an over-reliance on the US dollar has made the global economy vulnerable to geopolitical tensions, particularly given the US's ability to use sanctions as a tool of economic warfare. By promoting trade in local currencies, BRICS members aim to reduce their exposure to these risks while also encouraging other nations to consider alternatives to the dollar-centric system. Russia, in particular, has been vocal about the need to move away from the dollar after Western sanctions cut it off from much of the global financial system. As a result, Moscow has been expanding trade in rubles and yuan with its key trading partners, and the new BRICS initiatives align closely with this strategy. China, too, has taken steps to internationalize its currency, the yuan, positioning it as a potential challenger to the dollar. As the world's second-largest economy, China's growing influence in global trade and investment has allowed it to promote the use of the yuan in international markets, especially among Belt and Road Initiative countries. Challenges in realizing a common currency. Despite the growing enthusiasm for local currency trade and a potential BRICS currency, experts caution that several hurdles stand in the way of fully realizing this vision. First and foremost are the economic disparities between the BRICS nations. With vastly different economic structures, inflation rates, and monetary policies, creating a unified currency would require careful coordination and significant policy alignment, something that could take many years to achieve. Additionally, the lack of a robust financial infrastructure capable of supporting local currency trade remains a key obstacle. The US dollar's dominance is not just about politics, it is also the result of deep, liquid markets, global trust, and decades of integration into the financial systems of nearly every nation. For a BRICS currency to gain traction, the bloc would need to establish a similar level of trust and integration, which will take time. Furthermore, currency stability is another significant concern. Emerging markets tend to experience more volatile exchange rates compared to developed economies. For the BRICS nations to fully embrace local currency trade, mechanisms would need to be put in place to mitigate the risks of currency fluctuations that could undermine trade deals or investments. The global response, the symbolic unveiling of the BRICS banknote, has drawn considerable attention from global financial institutions and governments alike. While some view the move as little more than a political gesture, others see it as the beginning of a larger, more coordinated effort to reshape the global financial architecture. Analysts note that BRICS' push for local currency trade aligns with broader trends among emerging economies, many of which are increasingly looking to assert greater autonomy in global trade. In this sense, BRICS is seen as the vanguard of a wider movement that could potentially alter the balance of power in international finance over the coming decades. A bold vision for a new financial order. The unveiling of the symbolic BRICS banknote is more than just a photo opportunity, it is a declaration of the bloc's intent to play a larger role in global finance. By pushing for local currency trade and gradually moving away from dollar dominance, BRICS nations are laying the groundwork for a future in which the global economy is less reliant on any one currency or nation. Although significant challenges remain, the commitment of BRICS nations to explore new economic models reflects the shifting geopolitical landscape. As the bloc continues to strengthen ties and pursue a common financial agenda, its vision of a more multipolar world may well become a reality in the years to come. For now, the symbolic banknote serves as a reminder of BRICS' bold ambitions and a signal to the world that the financial order could be on the cusp of transformation. Stay tuned to our channel as we continue to follow this evolving story, with more updates and insights on the potential impact of BRICS actions on the global economy. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned to our channel for more updates.